All right, what's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. Super interesting day in the markets. Um, Interesting day for Bitcoin, and new pope was elected, so definitely keep him in your prayers. And so let's jump into everything. So first of all, the video that I made on Monday, I was trying to figure out the ETF for the Argentinian stock market, and I couldn't recall it. And then I see over here it's been in my watch list, and I saw it pop up, and I thought, oh, there it is. So this was on Tuesday when I saw this. What is today? Thursday. Wednesday, Tuesday. So Tuesday, I bought some calls, and now keep in mind this the options market for ARGT is very illiquid, but that's okay. You can adjust and you know do what you can, right? So anyways, I calls were June 20th is the expiration. $84 strike price. I paid $4.30 for those, and I sold those today pretty close to market open, for $6.15, which is a 43% gain. And pretty much right away, I close these out. This still looks fantastic. This still could rocket way, way higher. Again, just because I made a video a couple weeks back saying there's a high likelihood that the bear market is over. It doesn't mean that we're in a bull market and I'm going to trade this market like a bull market until I'm proven wrong, right? So right here is clear resistance, and so I'm going to get out of those calls right here. And that was a 43% gain, so that's good. I'm happy with that. Argentina is definitely something to keep on the watch list. This looks fantastic still. If we're in some sort of bull market, that's confirmed bull market, I would be holding these probably for a breakout, and it very well still could, but anyways, that's just all my thinking, how I trade this current market that we're in. And so that's what I did today. Well, I did something else in Dow Jones that we'll get to, so let's just go over all the current holdings. So take two, and after this gap was filled, it's given back, a lot of it, which I figured would happen, and no sell rules are broken on this. However, it's weak, so the probability of this outperforming markets, I believe, is diminished ever since breaking out to all-time highs. Plus, when something's has broken out to all-time highs and then really gives it back in an uncharacteristic way, that is of concern. However, no sell rules are broken, so we will continue to hold this. The average cost basis is $223.76, so a couple bucks on this, and hard to give my opinion on it. So we'll see. When again, I have a third of a position size on in this, and until any sell rules are broken, I'm not gonna do anything with this. So all right, that's that. Oh, we'll go over to MicroStrategy, and then we could talk about Bitcoin. Fantastic day for MicroStrategy. Really kind of gave some back. But this is really showing a lot of strength. I would have expected it to pull back much more. But anytime a stock is respecting the 9-day EMA, shows that there's some serious strength in here. So, I still am not adding to this, but anyways, average cost basis is 329.48, and so we'll just continue to let this ride. Bitcoin looks good. We'll go over that here in a little bit. Let's just get through current positions. I'm still in Germany. ETF, this looks okay. This looks fine, right? You had a couple days of a nice breakout. I would have liked to see a third day of a continuation. That's pretty common to see a third day. But the fact that we haven't is of no concern. I would consider this all pretty normal in here. So whatever, that's July 18 is the expiration, $39 strike price. So those are in the money. Paid $235. Those are currently $242. And moving on. I mean, again, hey, this is at all-time highs. Just because something breaks out to all-time highs doesn't mean that it's going to work. It just means that the probability that it will continue to work is higher. And that's all that's important. It's just a game of probabilities. That's it. Wow, see, this was really nice. Broke out, came back, retested. It's going higher. Yeah, really nice. Wow. Ooh, and there was even a shakeout down all through here that was bought. Yeah, see, very interesting. Wow, yeah. So I still think this looks good and don't really have anything else to say. All right. Now let's go over the last equity position, which is GTX, which I think I forgot to mention on Monday. But I've mentioned this in subsequent videos. Average cost base is 1085 or whatever, 1083, and it's performing very nicely. Again, I was totally late to the party on this, so I got a third of a position size on in here, and this could pull back significantly and still be completely fine. And such is life, so be it. If that does in fact happen, then whatever. But this base is something that cannot be ignored, and the power of this. Look at these massive, as Jim Roble says, skyscrapers of volume in here. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row of massive accumulation. Those are institutions getting involved, and so that's a good sign. Like I said, starter position here, no, but hey, volume, that nice long base, I am bullish on it long term. And again, this equity position, this is something that I will hold, for a long time, or until some sort of sell rule is broken, right? But I may work in and out of it, so I'm not really concerned what happens over the next week, unless broader markets really sell off, then I would be, concerned and adjust the portfolio. But so that's that. Now let's go over Dow Jones. So Dow Jones was looking really good yesterday, and really good move over the 50-day moving average. Things are relatively strong, and so my plan was pretty much first thing to go after this, and this was first thing right here. Yeah, 6:30 market open. I give it a few minutes, But I just got initial position on in here. We have some debit spreads. So nothing too crazy, but certainly enough to capture a good move. And so those are June 6th is the expiration. So, about a month. And with debit spreads, a month out is cool. 415 on the long call, 425 on the short call. Paid 470 for those. Those are currently flat. And this move down here was not unexpected. And, why I didn't wait for a move down to kind of fill this gap from yesterday is because there's strength in the market, and picking a bottom is, whatever, is a fool's game. So, you place the order with the expectation that this would probably fail and fill what had happened, between the close from yesterday and the open today. And that is what happened. And then the strength was significant. This was monstrous move. And so these, positions working out fantastically. And then, at the end of the day, just completely dumped and sold off, which is not that good. You never like to see strength get really sold into. Now, it could have a lot to do with the cues. Okay, so anyways, those are all the positions. Let's go over markets and sectors and commodities, and we'll go from there. Now, I certainly did not expect the cues to just break straight through the 200-day moving average and move higher. That was not something I would expect. I would have been surprised by that. So wouldn't have been unheard of, but I would be surprised by that. It's more normal that this is stalling out in here. This 50-day moving average really needs to catch up. And if there wasn't such strength the last couple days and also the strength over the last couple weeks, really since I made that video and things are really starting to work again, I would not have taken this trade here today. So with all that being said, I didn't have any sort of, it wasn't shocking at all that it sold off at the end of the day. So, these moving averages, they do need to catch up. I decided to go after Dow, my beloved Dow. And instead of the Qs, so we looked at these on the weekly chart previous. Let's see this here, weekly chart. Yeah, what is this going to rocket straight through? You never know. We could come back here in a month and think, man, this rocketed straight through, right? Where, in the moment, you're like, man, 2-3 days. Come on, what is this, stalling out? What's going on? So, nothing abnormal is my point. All right, let's go over to the Qs here, and we discussed this. These moving averages, they do need to catch up. And so there's that for the Qs. SPY is going to look the same, although I think VU has taken over for SPY, so who knows, maybe in the next couple years everyone will be saying VU instead of SPY. But anyways, we could stick with ES. It's gender neutral ES. Same thing as the Qs. All right, let's look at Russell. Let's look at Russell, and yeah, I mean, above the 50-day moving average. Again, I mean, the moving average is still declining, right? So, yeah. Oh, before I forget, it's of great significance that the advanced decline in the S&P 500 has hit new all-time highs. So, so that's just another thing to add into the bullish hat, you know. Where we kind of, we're going over sectors, we're going over all these different things, we're going over these different stocks, Argentina, Germany, and we're discovering it's difficult to be bearish right now. And so that's just another thing that I just saw today, and that goes into the bullish hat. And that certainly is bullish, especially when markets are still kind of correcting. So... And I'll say another thing too before I forget here, and this video can't be too much longer. But I'll say something before I forget, and that is everything has been kind of in line. We've had a sort of 3-year bull market, which is sort of in line with everything, right? 2022, boom, boom. This was a nasty bear market. Kind of a 3-year, everything was kind of middle of the road. Nothing was crazy. And so 3-year bull market, middle of the road. We've had a 22% correction, S&P 500, in VU, and a 20% market correction that is not followed up with a recession is also middle of the road. So, you could have your opinion. Is there going to be a recession? Is it not going to be a recession? The time will tell. But things are kind of in line for historical norms. Is basically all I'm trying to get at, right? I mean, anything can and does happen, but just, although, gosh, man, this is like, the most insane bloodbath. And then just full limit up, It was like an 8% day, right? Or 10 or I don't know. That was the most insane thing I've ever seen. That was insane. Yeah, this has been the craziest market. So that's everything I wanted to say before I forget. So now that we got that out of the way, let's go over Mag 7 and we'll go to Microsoft. The market has chosen a Microsoft over Google, and rightfully so. Microsoft's new deep search copilot is fantastic, really good. It's performing better than Grok in lots of ways, and just 2 days ago or 5 days ago or whatever, I would have said Grok is the best by far. Nothing's even close. And boom, here comes Copilot Deep Search, and they're doing fantastic. So again, there's this gap up here that was filled that we talked about. This will get filled at some point. There is a gap down here that will 100% get filled at some point. Although you can go a couple years with gaps not being filled. So if a new bull market is going to start, look for a couple years before this will get filled. Is basically all I'm saying. It's nothing to be of any concern, but sort of craziness, price action in here. I was going to say price discovery, but oh gosh, is that a pet peeve when people talk about that? Use that term, but anyways. It would be nothing of any surprise in here. It's a huge gap to fill. Oh wow, there's one down here too even. So there's that. There's Google. Google looks terrible. Microsoft looks good, but what are you going to start a position here? I mean, what are you risking? You're risking well over 10%, and that is a no. So okay. Might as well continue on this Mag 7 train. And Meta looks fine. Amazon, I don't think looks so good, although they did have a nice day today above the 50-day moving average. So cool. That's another thing. Check mark for the bullish hat. And let's look at Netflix. I know Netflix isn't considered Max 7, but you guys, I mean, this is why I like the new all-time high list. I mean, look at that. Doing great. Tesla. It's trying. It's trying. Yeah, it's trying. Tesla. Nvidia. Nvidia's gonna be kicked out of Mag 7. Just kidding. So this downtrend has been broken. That's great to see. And that's great to see. Moving on. Nvidia. Is that all Mag 7? Probably. We'll go with that. Let's look at Costco. And yeah, cool. Wow, gap down in Costco, huh? Is that the first time in its history? Nope. There's another one. Okay. So that's it for Mag 7. Nothing looks that great. Nothing looks bad. Nothing looks that great. Looks like things are kind of stalling out, as you would expect. Let's look at mid-cap. How's mid-cap performing? I mean, are you going to consider this a sort of a breakout right here? 1, 2, 3 days of consolidation. Now, I have seen 3 days of consolidation work, but and not very convincingly, right? You're kind of like, wow, So mid-cap was good. Now let's go over to Bitcoin. And wow, what a day, huh? See, this is another reason as to why it was hard for me to get all bearish, because Bitcoin was holding up just fine. It was holding up great. And starting to move higher way prior to market. I mean, you wouldn't even think there was an insane market correction. I mean, this doesn't even look like anything on a Bitcoin chart. You know what I mean? This looks like nothing. So that was also another indicator, that we touched on in that previous video. But this looks fantastic. I wouldn't add or start a position here, but I said that same thing back here too, so so I didn't add to my position back here, and I'm not going to add to it up here. I'll add to it when there's a more clear risk to reward. And again, so something that's super strong like this, where it doesn't really give you the chance to add to the position, that can just gives you further conviction to add to it when things look scary. That's all. And you'll always have a chance to get in. Don't FOMO into anything. It's not like that, and you miss something, but something else will fall into your lap. It's not like that at all, right? You're never going to get it perfect. Never going to have as much money in it as you want, right? Or you're always going to have too much money into it if it doesn't work out, right? I have a third of a position size on in MicroStrategy, right? I'm like, shoot, why did I even bother with a third? I should have just gone full bore, you know what I mean? Or I said, man, I wasn't going to add here. I should have just added there, right? But you have your rules, you stick to the rules, and that's that. So don't stress, don't FOMO into this. You'll get a chance to get in. The one thing of concern is back here, sort of similar, right? We'll see how this reacts around, new highs. I would love to see this just chill and do nothing for a week or so. Um, because I am concerned about what had happened back here, in 2021. This is of concern, this whole area. Things are a little bit different now than they were with the money that is coming in. So there is that. But all right, since we're on the topic, let's look at Ethereum. And nice. All right, cool. Yeah. Yeah, could care less then. Don't have any Ethereum, never have. So, alrighty. Let's go over some Bitcoin miners. So, Marathon. Cool. Looks fine. CleanSpark. Cool. Shoot, look at this. Stochastic down here. Pretty low. This could be a pretty significant entry point, actually. Huh. Let's look at if Marathon is same thing with the stochastic. Yeah. And bounced off the 50 RSI. Wow. Wow. Uh-oh. What the heck is Marathon losing money? Jeez, they're losing money. And Bitcoin's in a massive bull market. Yeah, see, same with these guys. Wow. Yeah, let's look at Riot. Riot's losing money too. Let's look at Hut 8. And yeah, but wow, nice volume. So guys, shoot, I could see a little trade in here actually. And this is down after hours, so that's good. Want to get in closer to 8 if you can, maybe 850. And I'm just thinking for myself. So, anyways, CleanSpark, we'll write that down as something to watch / go after tomorrow. This would be considered a decent amount of consolidation. Yes, lighter volume. Let's see what happened at the end of the day. And wow, they were all reporting earnings today. So cool, awesome. Hopefully they open down pretty big and shake some people out. Maybe go after it. All right, I gotta get out of here pretty soon. So Bitcoin miners. Let's go over gold and silver here. So gold really sold off. Look at that. Wow. This I would not treat. We captured this move. This move, not this move. We got that move. And I would not treat this the same here. So I'm not looking to get into this here. I would not look to get into it here. Can it work? Sure, of course. Anything can. Just game probabilities. The probability is less that it'll work out here than here, although this all looks fairly similar. Sitting on similar levels, but I would not treat it the same. And so therefore I'm not. Silver really rolling over. This could be, if this really starts to roll over, maybe this is the end of gold's bull run. Wow. Okay, could be. Let's look at Coinbase and Robinhood. So Coinbase is adding, pretty good earnings. Oh, that's funny. Wow, not a good reaction to earnings, although they do have this gap to fill in here. Wow, very poor reaction to earnings. But they are buying Bitcoin. I think their investors probably are getting fed up with, why do we have money tied up with Coinbase? Why isn't it just in MicroStrategy, for example? So I get the feeling that probably has happened. So now let's look at Robinhood. Cool. Robinhood's fine. All right. I think that'll about do. Oh no, we have to go over sectors, and then I definitely have to get out of here. I have like 5 minutes. Sectors. So we'll start with healthcare. Let's look at healthcare. Terrible. Biotech. Horrible. Although, I mean, the stochastics are pretty far down here, you know. Hey, you want to play a contrarian view? I guess you could. Sort of obvious risk to reward. If it starts to roll over here, you can bail. Yeah, sort of same thing, you know. But that's not my style, so I don't. But I can see the argument for it. I want to get mad at that trade for somebody. Real estate looks terrible. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but yeah. Bonds, wow, really selling off. You don't want to see this. You do not want to see this. Bonds really start kicking off and selling lower, that will be bad news. But this is getting to sort of oversold areas. I hate to use that term, but that's what it is. That's the best way to describe it. People understand that. Okay. Where are we? Oh, utilities. Utilities has been on the watch list, and more people are noticing it. People are talking about XLU. Wow. But this still right now is I'm not going to go after this. I wasn't going to go after it in here, and I'm still not going to go after it here. I want to see a pullback and stochastic come down, and then I will go after it because XLU is showing some nice strength. Communications, cool. Yeah, see, you guys, I mean, there's things to watch and go after, you know, I mean, so yeah, it's hard to be all bearish. So see, I don't know, one of the sectors here in this, and oil. Wow, nice rebound here in oil. Jeez, really sold off. Maybe one of these days gas prices will also sell off. It's like energy sector. Wow, booted. Whoa, this is terrible. That's terrible. This is a no-go. Again, I mean, hey, if you're a contrarian, stochastic, it's down here, is acceptable to go after. If you like a 9-day EMA, that would be acceptable. Just not my style in here. So that's it. Probably missing all sorts of sectors, but those are all top of mind, and this video is going a little bit long. And so yeah, that's it. Tomorrow's Friday, weather's getting nice, and so let's see, tomorrow I think I can make a video tomorrow. But anyways, you guys, just keep grinding, keep crushing it. We'll catch you later.